Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Head of Worldwide Sales for Magento, Ben Presley.
Thanks for that woot, Paul. That was very nice of you. Well, welcome everyone to the, well, they just changed the slide on me, but session on the strategies for growing your online business. My name is Ben Presley. I'm the Vice President of Customer Success and Professional Services with Magento. As many of you know, it is both a great opportunity and a challenge to sell online today. Customers expect a lot. They have extremely high expectations. And that means that it is both a great challenge and an opportunity to delight them, engage them, and grow our businesses. So today we have three fantastic panelists to help us think through this in more detail. So I want to go ahead and invite Alex, Rowan, and Tom up to the stage. I would ask you to join me in a round of applause for them to go ahead and get things started. All right. Well, welcome, guys. Thank you for being here at MagentoLive UK and for taking some time to join our panel. Maybe you can each take a second. We'll start with you, Rowan, to just share a little bit about yourself and Radley.
Okay, I'm Rowan Lucky, so I'm head of e-commerce at Radley. I've been there just over 4 years, and we've re-platformed onto Magento in 2012. So we've been on quite a journey, done quite a lot of customization, added lots of different services to our website. So we've got quite a lot of stories that we can share.
I'm Alex. I work at Oliver Sweeney. I'm Digital Marketing Director. We're just about to launch our Magento 2.1 website on the Cloud Edition next month. Oliver Sweeney is a menswear and footwear brand, luxury one.
And I'm Tom Lodge. I am e-commerce director at Links of London. Those who know me know I've worn a few hats. So I was head of e-commerce at Kurt Geiger for about 5 years, running quite a large in-house Magento team. Very strong adopter of Magento there. And then I was a solution architect for the Magento Expert Consulting Group for about sort of 14, 16 months, and been at Links of London now for a little over a year. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive straight in. We've heard a lot of the statistics in the general session about the opportunities, the challenges, the changing environment, the increasing penetration of mobile, social, and all of that into commerce. So we want to talk some about how we are, or how our panelists are taking advantage of these opportunities in the market to engage customers. We know it's really difficult to attract customers, to retain them. So I want to talk to them today about what you guys are doing to engage customers. And I want to start with content. And I'm actually going to turn to you, Alex, first. I've noticed that Oliver Sweeney, you guys are doing some very interesting things with content.
Yeah, I'd like to step back a bit before talking about what we do to deliver engaging content. It's what it takes to deliver engaging content, and I think the source of it is collecting data. I don't want to use the buzzword of big data because it doesn't mean a lot to me. But we are an omni-channel company, so we're collecting data from customers visiting us in store, collecting data from customers ringing us, or shopping online. And the first step we took is getting a single customer view. So whether you shop with us in store, online, or call us, you will have only one account, and we will be able to see all that data in one customer view. And what we do with that is we don't reinvent the wheel. We use fairly simple segmentation strategy, but we do deliver personalized campaign. And the one campaign that we did recently is delivering a personalized video through an email. And what we did is take where the customer lives, and if he lives nearby one of our store, then the email would be delivered by our store manager, look at what pair of shoes they bought last, and give them advice on how to style that pair of shoes, and also look at the weather that was around when we delivered that campaign. And we bundled that into one video that was personalized, and we sent it to 25,000 customers. And the result was quite staggering, to be honest. Click-through rate usually on our emails is anything between 2.5 and 3%. That campaign delivered 8.5% click-through rate. So based on that, what we did now is replicating that on another channel, which is Facebook. So we're going to deliver personalized videos on Facebook. So whether you follow us or not, doesn't really matter. We've got your Facebook handle through the email, and we're going to send you a personalized video based on where you are, the weather, and your purchase history with us.
Now, I understand that you guys also have shoe tattoo artists, or tattooists, I think as you call it. Tell us a little bit more about that in terms of how you're really engaging your customers.
Yeah, that's very exciting for us. We've got an in-house tattooist whose job is to tattoo the shoes. So tattooing leather, when you think about it, leather is skin. So tattooing leather or skin is pretty much the same process. We use exactly the same machine. And showing that we can personalize a product is generating a lot of engagement. And not necessarily, when we push that campaign to all our customers and prospects, it generates a lot of engagement. Not necessarily a lot of orders on that personalized shoes, but showing the fact that we can personalize and showing the fact that we can make your shoes your own shoe because you will have your own tattoo, increase sales on every single product line. And we had crazy stories. We had a couple of donkeys being tattooed on pair of shoes. The most popular is the London skyline that we tattoo on the shoe. It could be anything. It's exactly like tattooing skin. And to create engagement, that's our secret weapon.
So we've done something similar at Radley, not to the degree of tattooing, but we do allow our customers to personalize their handbags. So we're a leather handbag and accessories brand. And customers definitely respond to being able to make the product their own. So we have a tool where they can just add initials to a tag. And we've seen that really kind of increase in popularity, particularly around Christmas, around Mother's Day. It's something that we're looking at expanding into. So the range this year is growing. We've gone from one product that you can personalize to kind of a range of 4 products. And we're really seeing kind of that uplift from the customer. And it's also a great way to incentivize customers to add kind of free personalization instead of resorting back to discounting or just offering money off. So it's a good conversion mechanic.
It's interesting because in some of the research we have done at Magento, we hear this concept that customers don't want a something, they want the something. And to the extent that you can build messaging and content around it not only helps you to sell and increase conversion, but it also helps you to engage your customers better. So building storylines around and the ways that you guys have done that from a product standpoint is really powerful. I want to shift a little bit, staying on personalization, to that in terms of how you're doing it from an e-commerce standpoint. I know, for example, you have very different customers in terms of their interest in your brand and the types of merchandise. Maybe tell us how you're engaging them differently.
Sure. So we've been around for about just over kind of 15 years as a brand. We've got a very kind of fanatical, loyal customer base who loves the brand, loves what we do. We've got a very kind of iconic Scotty Dog logo that a lot of our customers are absolutely obsessed with. And a Radley handbag wouldn't be a Radley handbag if it didn't have the dog on it for them. But likewise, we're kind of expanding the brand. We're looking at acquiring kind of newer customers, and the dog for them doesn't have the same kind of. It doesn't resonate as it does with our core loyal customers. So last year we had a marketing campaign in Grazia magazine, which is quite a young kind of very trend-led fashion magazine, and we knew that we would be getting customers through PR and through the direct channels. The handbags that we were presenting to them were probably much cleaner. They didn't feature the dog as prominently. So when those customers arrived after seeing us in Grazia, we wanted to make sure that they had a kind of seamless customer journey. We have a tool called Monetate, which we can use to personalize content. So we used that tool to serve homepage content which would resonate with the Grazia customer, but also tailored the homepage so customers who came to us through social media or through email, knew the brand already, would see the kind of the loved Scotty dog and the product that they were expecting to see. At the same time, we were also launching our very first fragrance, so we wanted to promote that to customers who knew the brand. So we kind of have really used personalization to segment our customer base and show different content to different people.
Yeah, we want to do the same. Once we're on Magento, the one thing that we're going to do is implement different homepage depending on whether you're a logged in customer or not. And what we found out is we've got one product that is the key account opener for us. Over 50% of our new customers order that pair of shoes. It's the one pair of shoes that everyone buys when you get to know Oliver Sweeney. And that pair of shoe is interesting for someone who doesn't know the brand and wants to buy the first pair. But equally, it's not so much of an interest for an existing customer. So what we do is, if you log in into your account, then we would show you how to style that pair of shoes, because we know you've got it, you're already an existing customer, so we'll show you how to style that with the trousers that match the shoe or the blazer. Or equally, we launched also our fragrance. We're not known for fragrance, we're known for shoes primarily. But fragrance is an interest for our existing customers, so we are showcasing that fragrance to logged-in customer because we know they are existing customer. And that's coming back to what I was saying. It is what I meant by segmenting. It doesn't need to be really complicated. The first basic, you are a known customer or you are a new customer, is already segmenting, and I think just simple as that increases sales, increases engagement and conversion rate online.
I was going to come back to your point around content. Oh, sorry. On here. Hello. Come back to the point on content and engaging the customer. So one of the routes that Links of London is going down, jewellery, for those of you obviously fairly aware, Links of London has been going 25 years, very famous for sterling silver quality jewellery. Don't always have, and we do have new collections, but it's a fairly static range, which can make content quite challenging because you're constantly, if you're kicking out an email every week or more than that, you're trying to come and generate the content. So we are looking at the older buzzword of sort of user-generated content. We recognise that actually out on Instagram, we have a very loyal fan base. There's huge amounts of imagery and content out there that we weren't absorbing. So we looked around, and there's obviously a few, but we ended up picking Olapic and are now aggregating the content in. There is quite a manual process, which is one of those things to be aware of. It sounds awesome to hoover up all the social images, curate them fine, but then you've actually got to associate the product, the image in the product to the SKU, which can be ultimately is a manual process. So we've got to hoover through tens of thousands of images. But once we have that, we have a very powerful tool that we can then push those images and connect them into our product detail pages. And you get the best of both worlds. You get an interesting spin on your product photography. You get actual user-generated content, so people feel closer to the brand. So we're quite excited about the double-edged sword that's going to bring.
So you guys all touched upon the fact that you have a loyal group of customers. We know it's much harder to get new customers than it is to retain an existing customer. I was struck by the depth of the loyalty of some of your customers, Alex. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that and some of the things that you're doing around loyalty with your customers.
Yeah, our customers are what we call fanatic. To be in our top 100 best customers, you would need to own at least 25 pairs of our shoes. Our best customers spent...
How many pairs of shoes?
25. Our best customers spent £25,000 with us within the last 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
I won't tell him who he is, but we like him. And loyalty goes beyond what we can do on e-commerce and everything. And the key to us is customer service. If you show to the customer that you care about him and you honestly care about him, then he will be loyal. As long as you've got good products, and we do have good products, then he will keep on coming back to you and keep on buying because he had a good experience with you. And what we like and what we have fun with is spinning a bad customer experience into a really good customer experience. The one thing that we we do at Oliver Sweeney is managing director. His official job title is cobbler-in-chief. He picks up the phone when we've got a customer service issue, and he spins things around. And probably half of our best customers had customer service issue at some point. And they became very loyal purely because we use customer service as a way to engage them. And I think today our feeling is customers are beyond collecting points, are beyond, I want my points to get my discounts, I want my points to get a free product. It doesn't really matter anymore because it's the past. What they want is a one-to-one personalized relationship. And if he calls us, and coming back to the single customer view, if he says, I'm a really good customer, we will be able to see that he's a really good customer. Even if he placed only one web order and 25 orders in store, we will know that, and we will recognize him as a really good customer. And I think that's the core of loyalty, especially in luxury. You can't buy loyalty by giving away discount, because then you kill your brand. Luxury is all about customer experience, and that's how we engage customers and keep them loyal.
I recall a similar story or approach from another brand, another Magento customer in the US, Rebecca Minkoff, that Rebecca herself responds on social media to people who have negative experiences, and they'll say, somebody, what they famously said, was complaining about the bottom of a purse. So they asked the person to bring it in, they fixed that woman's purse, and then they changed the entire product line based on her feedback and let her know that. And you took, just as Tim is doing, your cobbler-in-chief, take somebody who's in the negative category in terms of their brand experience, and you don't just make it positive, you flip them into incredible brand advocates, which is a powerful strategy. That's very cool.
Which was something we adopted at Lynx. Was one of the I brought in Zendesk to manage all of our tickets for our customer service, customer experience, and one of the things I wish I'd done sooner, but took quite a bit of bravery, was to turn on the customer satisfaction score, which is just the simple, once the ticket's been closed, you just get the simple, were you happy, yes, no, was your experience good, bad? And I really didn't want to turn that on for quite a while, but actually as soon as you do, great, you start getting a score, you can see if you're tracking up and down, and then our new head of customer services had the proactive attitude to say, right, and now I'm going to start contacting every bad feedback to say, hey, sorry about that, why was it bad, is there anything I can do to turn you around? And I really feel from a customer point of view, if you were a bit grumpy and said, no, that wasn't good enough, and then within the next day someone calls up and says, hey, we're really sorry about that, you're definitely going to, a customer you would have almost certainly lost, you probably got a fighting chance they're going to say, you know what, that was a good idea, they called me back, I'm going to stick with these guys a bit longer. So we were quite like that approach.
We see similar results as well. We ask all our customers to rate the product and the service through FIFO, and our customers, they're more than willing to engage and tell us what they think. But also, it's a really valuable source of research into our product. So I read all of the negative comments that come back. We respond to absolutely every single one. And like you said, the recovery is so crucial for actually creating brand advocates. So a customer who's had a bad experience that we can turn around is actually much more powerful than somebody who who's had a good experience and doesn't want to share. It's those people that you can turn around that really kind of create loyalty.
And you have taken an additional approach to customer engagement, brand advocacy, and loyalty at Radley. Would you mind talking a little bit about that, Rowan?
We've just launched with a company called Mention Me, who have kind of a pretty simple JavaScript piece of JavaScript that fires a referral program post-purchase. So customers who've bought on the website can then go on to recommend us to a friend. They can either do that through the traditional email or social media links, but they can also refer through WhatsApp. They can also refer based on a customer's name. So if I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine, she says, I really like your handbag, she can go onto the website, she can type in Rowan Lucky and actually get an offer or an incentive that way. And if she redeems that offer, then I also am incentivized. So it's in my interest to recommend Radley to my friends. It's in their interest to be rewarded. And we've seen some really interesting kind of engagement with that. So we've only been running it for 3 months now. We're already seeing a kind of 10% interaction rate. So of anybody that actually just sees the scheme, it doesn't mean that they've typed in anything, we've got a 10% interaction rate. So 10% of people that see the Mention Me kind of banner post-purchase will engage with it and will interact. And the customers that go on to buy, we're seeing a 25% increase in their average order value. It's too early to say yet how kind of loyal they are going to be returning, but that average order value is already much higher than our regular customers.
Yeah, this is something that we were looking at as well. We're talking to Mention Me because we haven't got a formal way of implementing recommendation, but what we found out is when a new customer has been recommended by an existing customer, he then turns into be a much more loyal customer, and the AOV is much higher as well. So funnily enough, Mention Me, we were talking to them not later than last week, and we're probably going to implement with them because I think the power of recommending a brand to someone else is great. And if you like a brand and if you recommend it to someone, you put yourself into it, and if your friend has a bad experience, then it reflects bad on you. So you wouldn't recommend any brand to anyone, and I think that's something that we can tap into and ease that by programs and Mention Me and things like that.
Yeah, you think about for almost any consumer decision that we're making, whether it's a complex sale like an automobile or something more simple, generally we want the feedback of people we trust. That more than anything. We don't want to be sold. We want the feedback of people we trust. And so brand advocacy is so powerful. So we've talked some about creating deep customer engagement, great experiences from a content standpoint. We've talked about it from a loyalty standpoint. But some of this is just reach. It's getting to the people, getting your brand in front of the right people, and some of that is internationalization. We at Magento hear a lot about customers who are very interested, merchants who are very interested in reaching new markets. So I wanted to open up the conversation a little bit around internationalization. Maybe start with you, Tom. What have you done to take your brands globally?
So currently the Link site, we have the UK and EU. So roll back. So we ship from the UK to around 75 countries worldwide. And we have the UK and EU, so we ship to Euro and Euros. We have a US, Canada, all same instance, but US, Canada, again, multi-currency. Those are all operated primarily out of the UK with some local teams in the US, but also using broadly the same ERP, same sort of integration. And that's fine, but we also have transactional sites in Japan, currently non-transactional Hong Kong, China, and we were chatting about it in the merchant-to-merchant session earlier on, actually, that's where it can start to get harder because those teams are actually, some are Links employees, some are not, some are franchise partners or just local, not even franchise partners, just sort of local hubs who operate the sites for us. So there's quite a challenge for us to sort of remotely control those territories. So we've tried to implement systems. We've used Jira actually slightly randomly, sort of usually reserved for the techie world, but the marketing team have got into that to manage content and tickets and control how those local markets, what assets they're allowed to distribute, because that's obviously a challenge as well, looking at what product they have. So I wouldn't say we've solved it, but it's quite an interesting challenge, and I'm happy to chat to anyone about it, around exactly how you manage the content, what you release, what you don't release, especially when you might have a very heavy campaign. I'm sure you guys have this where the local markets don't have the product that's featured in the campaign, and then they get really upset with you because all the hero assets don't feature the product that they've got, which again, we try to mitigate really just through communication and talking to them we opted for Jira, as I say, but Yeah, I'm not sure if I answered the question there, but...
No, you did. It was very good. Turning to Alex and Rowan, any thoughts that you have about what you've done to take your brand international?
I think we've got a similar story to Lynx in that we have international distributors, but we have a UK site, and we've also got a German site that we launched a couple of years ago. So UK and Germany both sit on the same Magento stack. We manage them both together, so it's really easy for the team to control. We're now kind of seeing much more traction from the US, but also from Asia. So we're looking at ways that we can expand out. So the plan is that we have a distribution hub in the US, which will be served from the site within the UK. We'll have a dollar site and a euro site built on the same stack. So we'll have four Magento sites within that one platform. And then we also are seeing traction in Asia. So we're using kind of what's quite a young market for us. We're using that as a test case to look at launching Magento 2. So keeping the UK on version 1 for now to kind of limit the risk, but using our Asian markets as a test case for M2. But using the kind of the learnings and the experience that we've had from working with our partner here in the UK, and kind of taking those learnings and rolling them out into Asia.
Yeah, I think in internationalization, the easiest markets are the ones that don't require translation, and every time you talk about translating a website, everyone goes, woo, because you've got a whole lot of issues, and we talked about it in the merchant-to-merchant sessions. If you translate into German, a word big like that will become like that, and then it has a massive impact on design and things like that. So we all tend to go to English-speaking websites first, or countries first. And we do exactly the same. So we are going to target US in second because it makes a lot of sense. And the one that does make sense for us, and we see a lot of traction as well, is Australia. And Australia is a little bit more challenging for us because when you think about it, it's summer here, it's winter there. So the footwear and the menswear season is completely different. So we're going to use Magento to leverage that and sell autumn-winter stock in summer here, and vice versa. So we'll be able to switch homepage and all the content, and even the product lines will be completely different. So a pair of shoes that you would normally find here, espadrilles and sandals, you wouldn't necessarily find it on the Australian website because it's winter and it wouldn't make sense. So we will use Magento to leverage that.
That's a situation where we've found a real value from Monetate, being able to personalize what we serve to people. So delivery message is kind of the most basic but a really important one for conversion. Telling customers in the US that we offer free UK returns is pretty redundant, but being able to talk to them about how long it's going to take for them to get their delivery, and that they're not going to pay customs over a certain amount, and telling them what we're going to charge them for shipping has been really valuable, and we can just do that on the fly through Magento and Magento and Monetate, and just personalize the content. But you could use it to the same degree, serving content and different product ranges. We also have some product ranges that we can't ship internationally, so we've used Monetate to hide those, as well as kind of doing some customization with our shipping matrix to make sure customers can't buy those products.
So with the limited time we have left, I just want to quickly go around and hear what you guys' top priorities are, or your top priority is for the next 12 to 18 months. And maybe we'll start with you, Tom.
Lots of things. Actually, one of our top priorities at the moment would probably be so at the moment on the Links of London site you can do engraving and the like, but it's fine, but it's quite basic and doesn't reflect the kind of quality you can get in the store and the variety you can get in the store. And also the ability, we're looking at how we create what we might call a customization studio, something that really can engage the customer with those services in the right way. And funnily enough, it's one of those things that actually there aren't lots of packages that do beautiful engraving because there's not that many people who need to do it. So that's probably a big bespoke bit of work that we've been speccing out, but we really feel it's going to be key for our engagement to get that right.
Great. Alex?
Well, next 2 weeks, getting Magento 2.1 live, that would be a good achievement, and we've been working on that for quite a long time. Further down the line, looking at fully integrated CRM software into Magento, then taking the POS system and doing the same, and finally getting the fulfillment. So 18 months down the line, we get a fully operational platform where Magento is core of it, and we keep that omni-channel single customer view, which is our key differentiator compared to competitors.
Great.
International, so launching 4 websites in the next 6 months. So that's going to be a challenge. I think that's enough.
Yeah, you're going to have your hands full with that, so good luck. Well, please join me in giving a round of applause for our panelists.